Hi, welcome back to the EDC Squirrel, and I've got something new today, this time from Remette. I picked this one up on Amazon, and you'll have to excuse me. I am still trying to find my rhythm, trying to figure out how I want to do these videos. I am doing a new way of recording my videos, including microphone and such, so excuse me if things seem a little different or weird. Testing things out. Let me know what you think. Either way, let's get back to unboxing this knife and see what we got. This one, tough box to open. There we go. Okay, like I said, this one was from Remette, purchased on Amazon. And inside the pouch, so many of these, we've got what looks to be, yep, a mini catalog, brand introduction, couple different models of knives. Oh, even how to open and close. Whether you have a folding knife or a fixed knife, fixed blade, and then how to maintain. Kind of cool. And your customer service number. I'll put that off to the side. We've got a microfiber cloth. I don't know if this is branded or anything. And we have here the knife. Oh, what's this? Oh, we have a tool. Oh, that's neat. First knife I've ever had to, or ever come across that's given me a free tool. Oh, wait. There was the gin, but that one came in a kit you had to put together. That's kind of neat. Looks like probably a T6 and a T8, I believe. Anyway, we'll leave that in there. In fact, we'll put everything back in for now. Nice little case. And what we've got is the Remette Wild Species. Now, this is their budget version. They do have a premium version, which I do have my eye on, but it's a little out of my current price range, at least for the moment. This one has a blade length of 3.27 inches, closed length of 4.6 inches. Let's open this up. You got a thumb stud. You've got a front flipper. You've got a, let me bring this up closer. You've got not a deep carry pocket clip, and it does not appear to be reversible. You've got a lanyard hole on this backliner here. And this appears to be in green micarta. Let me check real quick just to make sure. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That has that patterning, or it looks kind of like his micarta, but it's actually G10. You've got some orange highlights there with full steel liners. Oh, that snaps out really, really quick. And a very definitive lock. This is a liner lock, as you can see there. And, nice. Thankfully, they do have a little bit of a cutout to make accessing that liner lock and unlocking the blade much easier. I don't have to get my thumbnail in there. I can just use the pad of my thumb. Makes it much easier to close. And the front flipper. Nice. That's a very positive lockup. I love the click sound, and that blade moved really smoothly. So I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's, probably see it in there. It's tucked away. I'm pretty sure there's bearings in there. I'm not seeing it in the description. I'm looking. Oh, no, there it is. Cage ceramic ball bearings. Now, oddly enough, it says, am I looking at the right one? Hold on a second. It says button lock, but I don't think this is a button lock. It might be a typo on their website. Let's take another. Well, actually, let's take a quick look at the blade itself while closed. And that looks perfectly centered in there, which is always nice to see. Got some jimping for the front flipper. I do like that orange contrast they have on the very edge. That's kind of neat. I have a lot. I've got a lot of black knives, and to do something different, I try to get knives in different colors, and then I ended up with a whole lot of green knives. Green seems to be a really popular knife color, and so this orange highlight is a nice change from all the green that has been occupying my knife case. Very sharp look while closed. And the G10 handles are smooth but grippy. All right, again, let's take a closer look at that blade. The steel on this one is 14C28N. On the website, they state it's got a hardness of 58 to 60. It's a flat grind drop point with a very subtle drop. I also like the bluish or blue highlights for the thumb studs, as well as around the pivots. Very nice looking for a budget knife. And very comfortable to hold. I can easily get a full gorilla grip on that knife. And they've got a pretty decent finger choil to allow me to choke up for some fine like cutting and carving. On the blade itself, they got on one side says Remette. On the other side, you got the 14C28N and a very small backliner, which has the lanyard hole. I do like that the edges of the G10 scales are like kind of rounded down, making that very comfortable. There's no jimping on the blade aside from where the flipper sits when it's in its open position. Otherwise, that's pretty much about it for that. It's very easy to unlock the blade. Like I said, I'm glad they put that little cutout to make it easier to actuate that liner lock. And that is such a very positive lock. I love the sound. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of liner locks because a lot of times, I mean, obviously you're putting your thumb in front of a moving blade. However, it's hard to beat the sound of a liner lock when it locks up. Same with the frame lock because they're essentially almost the same thing. It's just a very positive sounding lock sound. And like I said, that is very, very smooth. And sometimes I have trouble with front flippers, but that was very easy to just get up and do. Didn't really have to think about it at all. Then maybe I'm just getting used to them because I've been finding that I'm really enjoying front flippers because it keeps the lines pretty smooth. You don't have like a rear flipper poking out the back. And in some cases, you don't even have thumb studs, which gives the knife very clean cut lines when closed. This one does have the thumb studs, but because of that little blue, it looks pretty. Pretty nice for, like I said, a budget knife. And on Amazon, they were going under $50, I believe. And I think you can even get a coupon They have one of those coupons you can click on to get it for even less. I don't recall how much, but I mean, if I remember correctly, it's like well below 50. Let me take a look. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, at the time of the creation of this video on Amazon, I'm showing a price of $59, and then I see a coupon for $29 off. I don't know how long that coupon will last, but I mean, hop on it while you can. Let's take a look and see how sharp this blade is now. Okay. That's got some serious kick to it, and this is not assisted, but that has some serious kick. I mean, it's not the lightest knife. What was the weight on this one? I believe, what did they have on their site? I believe the weight on this was 3.6 ounces. So it's not the lightest knife in the world, but because of that, when you kick this open with either, especially with the thumb studs, but with either the thumb studs or the front flipper, it's just, it flies out almost on its own. And I don't have too many knives that have that feeling of where it's not an assisted knife, but it almost feels like it is. Okay, enough that. Let's try cutting this. Well, actually, first, got to check. Not feeling any burrs so far. Nope. Yeah, not feeling any burrs along the edge of this blade. And, ooh, that catches the skin pretty well. Let's see how this does on the paper. Very toothy edge, just immediately grips onto the edge of that paper. I'm trying to cut the paper at an angle to see if I can, like, bevel the paper, which I can. It's probably a little hard to see, but I can actually cut the paper at an angle, and there's a very slight bevel to that paper. Pretty damn sharp. And that was right out of the box. That was pretty nice. Let's grab that. I, oddly enough, don't have a cloth on hand. It's all apparently gotten tucked away somewhere. Yeah, and I'm really curious if this is branded or not. I don't know why it matters. It doesn't matter. But nope, no branding on the microfiber cloth. Let's give that a wipe down. Very nice satin blade. Like I said, very comfortable. Excuse me, very comfortable to hold. I really don't feel that pocket clip very much when I'm gripping it really hard. Now, unfortunately, this is one that I probably won't carry too often because of the blade length, but wow, that's comfy. It is a little on the weighty side at 3.6 ounces. I have plenty of knives that are a lot lighter that would probably be a lot more comfortable to carry. But let's see how that sits in the pocket. Excuse me. Okay. That would sit. Oh, that's a pretty stiff pocket clip. Oh, no, there we go. Doesn't help that I'm not actually wearing these, but that would sit Pretty much just like that. Blade towards the back of the pocket. I've seen people worry about like when carrying a blade tip up. There were a lot of people asking questions about, isn't that scary? Isn't that dangerous? Because the tip is pointing upwards. And I don't think what they realize is most often when you're carrying a knife, it's going to be with the blade edge, or the back of the blade, I guess you could say, towards the back of the pocket. Sort of towards this back seam. So really, that's going to help keep the blade closed in its closed position. And if you have anything else in your pocket, normally you're going to be reaching from this end. And your hand isn't really going to be anywhere near that blade. So even on the off chance it were to like slightly open in the pocket, it's going to be way back here. And nowhere near where any of, anything you'd be reaching for would be. But then, like I said, more often than not, that seam's going to help keep that blade closed. So carrying tip up has never, ever been an issue. Now, if you have a knife that oddly carries this way, which most left-handed people would be carrying a knife with the pocket clip on this side. Now, this one's non-reversible. But if it were to be carrying it this way, yeah, I could see that being an issue, because if the knife were to open up, it's right there. Like I said, for right-handed use, that blade is going to be right up against that seam. At least as far as I know, for most people that carry, it's going to be tucked up against that seam. And because of that, that blade should never really open. There we go. So that's how it would sit in the pocket. Now, if you're carrying in the back pocket, I could see this being an issue depending on where you carry the blade. I don't normally carry in the back pocket because I don't like sitting on my knife. So yeah, having it in the back pocket on this side of the back pocket, I could totally see why that would be a concern, because the blade could open up on this side. But then again, the way I carry, I would always carry the blade towards the seam to prevent. That is there we go. Yeah, it has a very small ramp on that pocket clip, so it could be a little hard to get it in the pocket. But as I was saying, when I normally carry with a blade towards the seam. So there's no way that knife is opening up. There you go. Anyway, this again was the Remette Wild Series. 14C28N blade, again with G10 scales and full liners. Really, really nice. I wasn't sure what to expect when I got this knife. Like I said, this is my first Remette, and I've heard a lot of good things about them. My only experience with Remette was sifting through websites and whatnot, and seeing a lot of their high-end knives that were, 150 plus, if not more. So I was quite surprised to see a budget version for even under $50. And I have to say, I'm quite impressed. This feels like a really built knife, and really feels like it should be a hell of a lot more expensive, especially again with the 14C28N steel, one of my favorite steels for a knife of this budget range. And it's really easy to sharpen, stainless, and holds an edge pretty well. But like I said, really easy to sharpen when you need to. A quick strop more often than not, and you're good to go again. So really, really surprised at the quality of this knife. that you can get for such a low cost. If it's any indication of how their premium knives would be, it doesn't help me because now I'm going to really, 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 really want a premium version. Oop. Thumb slipped. Very pretty. With the G10 handles. Again, feels really good. And that liner lock doesn't feel like my hand is really hitting that when I'm gripping it. I'm very impressed. Very, very impressed. In fact, I've got a couple. I'm kind of glad now because I do have a couple more Remettes headed my way. Also, budget versions of premium Remette blades. So I'm really, really curious about how those are going to end up. If this is any indication of how their budget knives are, I can't wait to get them in hand because this was very impressive. Anyway, thanks again for joining me. Hope you enjoyed watching. If you liked what you saw, please drop a like down below. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of any future videos as soon as they drop. And thanks again for all your support and hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.